Hey, this is James from My Take on Reality. In this episode, we're going to be talking about 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days Tell-All. Specifically, we want to address the issue of fake friends. This targets directly Ben the Betrayer and Mike the Megalomaniac. Sometimes the person you take a bullet for is standing behind the trigger. Know who and what you're fighting for. Let's get it. Now, off the top, as a friend and as an advisor, my rule is, first, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. This allows me to be honest with other people. Now, going into the tell-all, Ben's objective was to get Mahogany called out, for all the stuff that she did wrong. In furtherance of that plot, he brought in his friend Jessica. Now, Jessica was cast by Ben to play the role of the heavy. She was supposed to blast Mahogany so Ben could keep his hands clean and uphold that Christian image that he thinks everybody else is buying into. Very delusional. Now, per the plan, Jessica came in hot, and she went right after Mahogany, criticizing things that really didn't make any sense. Like, for instance, why did you lie about your age? Because you have to be careful about giving info online. So she went up a negligible 2 years, saying that she was 24 instead of 22. It's still close to the same age. If you're going to tell that kind of lie, I could see Ben being outraged if she said, I'm 34, and then he showed up and she's 24. Why didn't you meet him at the airport? I told him not to come, which she did. And he specifically said, I'm coming anyway. I don't give a damn what your father said, what your mother said, what your friends think. I'm coming because that's what God wants, and God wants us together. So he went. The big one. Were you in love with him? I only knew him from online chats. I need to get to know him in the real world. Now, Jessica, being a good friend, made herself look silly for Ben. And sometimes that's kind of the role of the friend. You make an ass out of yourself to try to protect your buddy. Jessica then made excuses why Ben was being so gullible when it came to this online love affair. It just boiled down to he was so desperate to find love and to be loved, which is, on the surface, a very noble and honorable thing. Again, trying to protect that saintly image that Ben tries to hold out for everybody else, that nobody is buying. Now, at this point, Mahogany revealed that Ben was playing both sides against the middle. He would go to Mahogany and talk about Jessica. He would then go to Jessica and talk ish about Mahogany. Realizing what was going on, Jessica blew up at Ben, then apologized to Mahogany. She then called him a narcissist, and the crowd went wild. Now, just as a general rule for me, I'm more concerned with who you are behind my back than who you are in my face. Your loyalty shouldn't depend on my presence. Now, while on the show, it looked like Jessica was trying to ride hard for Ben, but when given the opportunity to reciprocate that feeling, Ben quickly turned on Jessica and basically sided with Mahogany, saying that, yeah, you are full of drama. You're all about the drama. And that's what turned the whole situation on Ben. Now, in Mike's case, truth in friendship. I cherish a friend who gives me the truth. As a friend, I would be the first person to pull a buddy aside and warn him or her about their actions and the possible consequences of their actions. Mike's friends tried to tell him Jimena is using him for the money and potential opportunity that he could provide both her kids, and her family. Mike's friend's fiance, Nelsie, went after Jimena hard, trying to defend Mike. Mike, being the good friend that he is, turned around and yelled at Nelsie and told her to shut up. He then ordered her to leave the set. And the Oscar goes to, that's all I'm going to say. Off top, our friendship doesn't give you license to disrespect my lady, period. Understanding hurt people, I will not stand by and let you hurt somebody I am committed to, somebody who I'm supposed to be protecting, especially while we are in the process of protecting you. That's completely ridiculous. Now, Nelsie, She had class. She got up, wished Mike with his relationship, and walked off the set. John, Nelsie's fiance, Mike's friend, sat his happy ass on the couch asking her not to leave. Dude, don't sell your dignity or your relationship for a 5-minute guest spot on a reality show. Like, watching this whole scene transpire between Mike and his friends, Ben and his friend, put me in mind of the term ride or die. For those not familiar, this is a term used to indicate that a person is so close to you that they are willing to travel to the ends of the earth with you and die if necessary in furtherance to that end. The folly in this mindset comes from misplaced loyalty. Some people want to do all the riding while you do all the dying. Now, by the end of the show, Mike was hugging Nelsie and John. He was excited that Jimena agreed to meet with him, and everything was great, and we're all buddies again. It was so wonderful and touching. Yeah, that couldn't have been me, because me and Mike would have had to have a conversation after he said what he said to my lady. And then you going to tell her, you going to kick her out? Now, this doesn't mean you got to get physical, but you at least got to put him in check. Like, you do not talk to my lady like that. You do not talk to her like, I don't care what's going on with you and yours, but you don't talk to mine like that. This is especially important because you're the guy that's supposed to be giving Mike lessons on how to be a man and in a relationship. Well, bro, you got to step up and be that man in that relationship. Just my thought. That's my 2 on that. Now, in true baby boy Ben fashion, he took to Instagram because Jessica probably didn't want to have a conversation with him after the show. And, you know, Ben's got to get his last words in because his opinion is the only opinion that matters and it's important. So Ben wrote on Instagram, "Prayers today for my friend who has had an incredibly difficult 5 months with the loss of her father and now tragic loss of her sister. Now, Jessica will not only have to emotionally navigate and heal from the trauma, but also have to deal and heal from the onslaught of negativity. Thanks to 90 Day Fiance. Now, she will once again be the target of a vociferous fan base. Lord, protect her. Jessica does not deserve this." I'm gonna go on record. Ben is a bunghole. You invited her to the show to attack Mahogany. You knew about her loss before you did it. Now that she turned on you, she is suffering because of the loss of her father and her sister. This is right there with Ben, and this is very consistent with the character he's portrayed at on this show, because it's the position that she turned on me because she's going through some things, not because I did something wrong. And since we're being completely honest, you want the vociferous fan base to go after her because you are too much of a coward to do it yourself. You want them to go after her the same way you wanted her to go after Mahogany. You're always enlisting and enrolling people to do your dirty work, Ben. When it happens and these people go after her like you want, supposedly, it's not your fault. It's 90 Day Fiance's fault. Not Bishop St. Ben. He had nothing to do with it. Finally, Lord, protect her. I cannot stand this pimp in the pulpit godshite. You aren't praying for her. You're praying for her destruction while trying to look like you are above it all. And you had nothing to do with it. Earlier I said sometimes the person you're willing to take a bullet for is standing behind the trigger. Ben isn't just standing behind the trigger. He's the one that loaded the damn gun. Now finally, those who don't know the value of loyalty can never appreciate the cost of betrayal. My thing is, don't waste your time and resources investing in people who don't invest in you or themselves. There is a reason banks ask you about how much you have as a down payment before they lend you money to buy a home. They want to be sure that you have a vested interest in the success of this home purchase. Now, the problem with so many relationships, we invest ourselves in people who don't put anything to the cost of the relationship. They invest very little, if anything. Then when things get shaky or things get hard or difficult, they're able to walk away. Why? Because it doesn't cost them anything. Because they didn't put anything into it. The guy who invests his life savings into a business is going to stick around and try to hold out and make it work. The guy who just inherited it and he doesn't really care because he didn't put any money to it and it doesn't affect his bottom line at all if the business succeeds or fails, he can walk away tomorrow without looking back. Ultimately, you invest in those people and things you value. If they aren't investing in keeping you around or keeping you happy or helping you to succeed, then they won't miss you when you're gone. They won't miss your presence because you've never been valuable to them. In these cases, Ben's friend Jessica, Mike's friend John and Nelsie are only as valuable as their support. As long as they're supporting them and they're going along with everything they're saying and doing, then they're great and I'll keep you around. But the second you diverge from that, the second you say, hey, this might not be a good idea, maybe you should try something else, all of a sudden you gotta go. All right, guys, that's my take. This is James from My Take on Reality. Let me know what your take is. Hit it up in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications on when I drop new videos, because I'm always dropping new videos. And I'm out. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die.